Hey guys, Fran here. I wanted to talk to you a bit about consistency, specifically why I've chosen this as my word for the year of 2020 and how consistency has historically shown up in my life. Okay, so this year's word is consistency. So before the year starts, I always like to take a little bit of time looking back over the last year and thinking about the direction that I want the upcoming year to move in. So you can check out my last video on how I structure that, both up in the link up here and down in the comments below. So after some introspection, I've come to realize more and more that consistency is really the aim of the game for me right now. It's something that historically I've not necessarily been the best with. I approach things with a lot of energy and I can be quite quick to drop things if I feel like there's not enough momentum going on. Historically, I've seen this show up in things like when I was a teenager and I went vegetarian, I made one wrong step and then gave up the whole thing completely. Rather than saying, oops, I made a mistake that day, I said, I've ruined it, back to square one, never mind. That's something that I always look back and think, if I had a very different approach to that, then things would have wound up really quite differently. And it took me a long time to pick that up again and turn vegan many years later, which is really interesting for me because I find that I judge myself in ways that I wouldn't judge other people. I wouldn't judge a friend or a family member if they weren't able to follow through on something that they said they'd do daily, but they missed a day or two. But if I do that, then it's an entirely different story. So that's something that I know that I have to work on within myself. So the goal now, moving into 2020, is to really just stick to consistent action. And what I mean by consistent action is not actually to do something every single day. Even if I commit to doing it every single day, it's being able to acknowledge that sometimes it's not possible to do these things every day. If you're having an off day, that's totally okay, but pick it up again as soon as you feel able to do that. I know that this is a really important thing to stick to because to create anything substantial and anything of value, you really have to keep chipping away at it and keep building on something again and again. And that's a muscle that needs to continually be flexed to really build something. So for me, this is a case of giving myself permission to hit pause on things sometimes. If I'm overwhelmed or not feeling well or the day just doesn't allow for what I had planned, that's fine. There's a certain amount of forgiveness that I need to be able to work on within myself to say, you know what? That's totally fine. You weren't able to do that. Let's pick this up again as soon as we possibly can and carry on, because it's not about the doing it every single day. It's about the end goal, which is something that I really want to create. And consistency is something that I find myself routinely admiring in other people. I can see the benefits of consistency and what that's able to create for people. For example, there's some great YouTubers out there who put things out there almost every week. Do I begrudge them when they don't put something out one week? No. Absolutely fine to take a break every so often. You might need that for your sanity. That's something that I need to remind myself of and take things a little bit easier on myself. And I would encourage you to do the same. It's definitely something that I admire in other people, and particularly something that I see in my husband, Amar, who I know has been very, very consistent with his action, and his company certainly would not be where it is today after 7 years of consistent action. I think if that were me, I have to admit that I probably would have given up a long time ago. So I think there's a lot for me to learn from his persistence and how far that's got him with the accumulation of consistent action. So that's why this year's word is consistency. I'm really looking forward to seeing what can happen when I really start to build up consistent action and I can really invest myself into a few selected things. So stay tuned on YouTube for consistent action. You're welcome. And don't forget, it's okay to take a break every so often. We all need it sometimes. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.